Okay, Miya Jones, thanks so much for taking the time to join me on Life Before the Virus.
Thank you for having me.
And as I was telling you, this series began on
Mhm.
March 24th to talk to different leaders and elected officials about how their lives and roles have changed since COVID. And really, so much more than the virus has happened now that we're in June heading into July.
Mhm.
So you run Shades of Long Island, which is a news
Yes.
website about Black-owned businesses and organizations on Long Island, which is important right now as we look through the lens of racial justice and social equity.
Yeah. So it's definitely important for sure. I didn't really see all this being compiled at once between COVID and then more focus back on Black Lives Matter. So it's been pretty busy with shades. And it's funny, I was talking with my business partner and we talked about how COVID kind of threw off our plans in a sense that we were building. And then Black Lives Matter, the focus was back on that after the unfortunate killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. After that, we've been getting like more like attention and views than ever before because people are really searching and looking for a way to support the Black community, which has been encouraging.
So, how can people support the Black community? When people reach out to you, what do you advise?
Well, it would be best to keep informed, stay informed, educate yourself. And if you are unsure of something, just you can ask someone, ask a Black person, listen to what we have to say, listen to our experiences because it's important. And then with we also have a directory, Shades of Long Island. We have a directory that has right now at this point we have like over 530 Black and Brown businesses in that directory. So one way to support is to definitely buy Black and support Black business owners because it's important, the money value is important and we need that support monetarily, we need it emotionally, we need it in all different facets at this point. So I'll advise that.
So, what was your business plan that became something new now with the emergence of the Black Lives Matter movement becoming more prevalent?
So what we had in store, so we had literally like right before COVID got crazy, we had a networking event and it was a pretty good networking event. We had like over 100 people there, and it was encouraging to see the room as diverse as it was because that's what Shades of Long Island is all about. We're about diversity and promoting that. So we had the networking event. COVID came. We couldn't have another event. We couldn't, no in-person communication. I couldn't go out and cover, stories because it was just we were on lockdown. But then when the Black Lives Matter movement was focused on again, it allowed for us to be seen, and people were looking for, a media outlet that highlighted the movers and shakers and the different people, different Black people on Long Island. So I think that this is definitely a positive wave, and I hope it continues. I hope it doesn't fizzle out because other news media decide to focus on something else. I want us to stay focused and focused on how we can uplift the Black community, how we can support the Black community, and keep this momentum going. And so far, I've been encouraged. So.
Do you think that there is a void in Long Island news coverage on Black businesses and Black organizations?
I believe so. That's one of the reasons why I started Shades of Long Island, to highlight diversity and the youth as well, because I was born and raised on Long Island. I was born in Rockville Center and I grew up in Central Islip, and mainly I grew up where I am now in the town of Babylon. And throughout the years, I never really, in terms of media coverage, I never really saw too many stories on Black people, and the stories that I have seen, they were negative. And I think there's starting to be I'm starting to see a shift a little bit in terms, especially now since the Black Lives Matter movement is so prevalent and being focused on, and I hope that continues.
And day to day now, are you out participating in protests and events?
Yeah, so I've covered a few protests, and I actually went to the protest led by Ariana Levin. It was from Amityville to Seaford. I was out there with that. Me and my family, we were actually out there. Me and my mom, my dad, my older brother, and my dad. We actually went to the protest, and we didn't march the whole way because it was a little bit of a long march, but we marched most of it, and that was really cool to see because with that, a lot of these protests are being led by younger people, people high school age to like around my age or a little bit older. So it's been encouraging to see that. I went to and spoke at a protest in Farmingdale, another group led by, Gen Z millennials. So I think in a way with this whole movement going on, it's also given the youth of Long Island an opportunity to come out and have something to speak on and use their voice. So it's been, like I said, it's encouraging.
It is encouraging. And speaking of your family, you and your family have a show together. Let's kick it with the Joneses.
Yes. Let's kick it with the Joneses. Yes, it's fun to do. We've been doing it in different forms and different iterations it's been a couple years now, but now we really recently within the past, I guess 9 months, we really solidified, and we were able to do it on the Rude Rangers network, and through that we've been doing shows, and it's been fun.
What inspired you and your family to start having a show together?
So my mom has her own show, Conversations with Verdell Jones, and she was doing that. I get for now it's been 5 years, I think, that she's been doing the show. And then at some point she decided she wanted to have my father on, her husband, Jeremiah, my mom's Verdell, and he would come on a couple shows of, for her show, and they would, banter back and forth. And then eventually they added me and my brother to the mix, and we started doing it for her show. And then we decided to do it we would do it as a segment, but then we decided to do it as its own show. So we just wanted to do the show because I think it's important for people to see, your everyday middle class American Black family. You don't really see that kind of a show, honestly. That the only thing that I can think that comes close to it is Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett, her daughter Willow, and her mother. But I can't think of a talk show that features a Black family, one boy, one girl, and a husband and a wife together. I don't think you don't see it. You don't see it. So we decided to keep it going.
So that's cool that in your personal capacity with Shades of Long Island, you fill a void for Black news, and then together with your family, you fill a void there featuring a Black family.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. I mean, we're trying to, show America, we're not just, Black people aren't one noted. That's really, I guess, kind of the theme of my life,
Yeah, it's really cool. And I'm glad, we connected on Instagram, and that's the way that I found that I've been connecting with a lot of people recently while we're predominantly stuck in our apartments. And I see a lot of news out there telling white people, don't be extra nice to your 3 Black friends, but really educate your white friends. So that's what I want to do with my platform, is elevate voices like yours to join the conversation and do everything that I can to elevate what you and your family have to offer.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you reaching out. It's awesome. And it, like I said, I know I keep saying encouraging, but it is nice to see, people reach out. Even when when things started ramping up in terms of the Black Lives Matter movement again, I just received so many messages from white people asking, I never really realized that structural racism was a thing, and how can I help? And I've seen a lot more acknowledgement of not knowing, and that's important. It's really important because some people, people don't want to admit they're ignorant, but I do think it's great to see people acknowledge and be able to say, I don't know, can you teach me, or where can I go to learn this? So
right.
I'm happy about that.
Right. And that's what you offer. And I thank you for everything that you're doing. And let's please stay in touch through all of this.
Definitely, definitely. Once again, thank you for having me. Thank you for reaching out. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.